Pilot to Davon Williams, the diving catch. That's good for a touchdown, 28-26. Heath at that point, but we get pointsy from there. Rockwall Heath wins 45-33. Nikki Lattarulo has had a front row seat to this one all night long. Nikki, they got it close, but at the end, this potent Hawk offense was too much.
Yeah, and right now it's kind of a sad scene on this side of the stadium for Temple. Obviously, their season ends. They finished with a 9-3 record, so really so much to be proud of. The game started slow for the Wildcats. They got down to a 14-0 deficit, but they made their way back, and coming out of the half, they looked really strong, and that's when you saw that 2-point game. But then Rockwall Heath's offense was too much for the Wildcats. Coach Stewart said before the game they had 8 kids on offense committed or having offers from D1 teams. So they had a lot going on offense, and it just turned out to be too much for the Wildcats toward the end of the game. They looked tired, and you could tell they were worn out. They fumbled the ball at the end. Heath scored, and that kind of was where they got down to a 2-touchdown deficit, and things started going downhill. But again, so much to be proud of from this Wildcat team. You could see how much everybody loves their senior as the fans waited around to congratulate them on an incredible season. So not the way they wanted it to end. 2 years in a row, they fall to Rockwall Heath, but again, such an incredible season for the Wildcats. Curtis?
Nikki, this was a game that was a blowout a year ago. McLean, did it feel, both teams were obviously better this year. Did it feel like Temple's closer to making that, what seems like an escaping run at 6A?
Yeah, I think this team looked far better this year than they did last year. And in this game, in the beginning, I was like, okay, they look a little slow. And then when they came out in the second half so powerful and made it a 2-point game, I really thought they could win it. But then their defense kind of just looked a little worn out because, again, how good that Rockwall Heath offense is. But I think they have a good thing going in Temple for sure. They're going to be hurting a little bit without these seniors next year. Obviously, so many powerful seniors on this team. But I think in 6A, they can compete. They need a little bit more on both sides of the ball because I feel like it goes to the same few guys every time offensively. But once they really build both sides, I think they have a good program here, and they're proud of the way they performed tonight, I think.
All right, Nikki, appreciate it. We'll check in with you here on our question and answer session in a bit. Another team with high expectations every single year, the Vega Pirates. The Pirates breezed past Fort Worth Western Hills last week, and tonight the Pirates look to get back to the regional semifinals again. It would be a tough one, though. Their toughest second-round test since I've been covering football in this area against Kaufman and Corsicana. A battle between Pirates and Lions. La Vega, the known powerhouse. First, La Vega drive Bryson Rowland, the freshman, quick as can be, pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Then Rowland to the left. Fumble! It's jumped on by Kaufman. That is the first La Vega turnover. That drive stalls out, but after a La Vega interception, Braxton Garman capitalized on the turnover, puts Lions up 7-0. And then La Vega finally finds its footing. Robert Prescott rolls right, finds Dontroy Sterling on the cross. 7-7 at that point, right before the half. Third La Vega turnover of the night. Rowland loses another one. That sets up this, a 45-yard field goal from Kaufman. That makes it 10-7 going into the half, but La Vega bounces back. 14-10 is the final. He always jokes with me that we like front row seats. You know what he had tonight? A front row seat to this La Vega comeback. You know, Matt, we talked to Don Hyde before the game, and for them, it's a 3-part game. You block, you tackle, you take care of the football. They didn't do the third one, but they still got to win.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fact that they went into the locker room at halftime with 3 turnovers, Coach Hyde told me after the game that's so uncharacteristic for them, but he's proud of how they bounced back, and you really have to give the defense a lot of credit tonight. The fact that they gave up no points in the second half was the difference in this game. They get a couple turnovers in the second half as well. The biggest was an interception that you didn't see in those highlights. With 4:39 left in the fourth quarter, it was right here in the corner of the end zone behind me. That was the one that really sealed the deal. This was not an easy game. You said this. This is one of their toughest matchups that they've had in the second round, but there's a reason La Vega has been so good over the last 5 to 6 years, and it's because they find ways to win. They found a way to win, and I must say, Bryson Rowland has a bright future in Texas high school football. He's just a freshman. He had a rough first half, but he bounced back. Coach Hyde told me after the game, he's not just a great player, he's a great kid. He proved that tonight, got the touchdown that sealed the deal. This La Vega team going to be very exciting to watch, Curtis. Great game. They get the win 14-10.
La Vega Melissa next week in the third round. We'll talk about that one on Facebook in just a little bit. Let's talk Division II. China Spring has a chance to face off against reigning champ Carthage next week. But first, just as was the case last year, they've got to take down Sealy tonight. China Spring gets a home game for this one at Waco ISD Stadium. Brian Bell, the king of coin flips, apparently. Cougs up 13-zip after one. China Springs Major Bowden, he is the straw that stirs the drink and apparently refuses to get tackled. A 15-yard run. Yeah, that's a first down. Less than 5 yards now. Bowden to Dawson X-line. Creeps it into the end zone. Touchdown Cougs. 20-0 at that point. Here we go. Cougars on the drive again. Another close attempt. Kyle Barton this time with the TD carry. They get the PAT. Cougars up 27-0 at that point. But we go. Final 30 seconds of the half. Sealy's Devon Hemlewski hands it off to Avante Nunn. Gets a few yards before he's taken down by Braden Faulkner, former Gridiron Player of the Week. China Spring rolls in this one. Unscathed at the half. 48-7 is your final. They'll get Carthage next week. Last night, Lorena facing Woodville in the second round. We start in the first quarter of this one down in Madisonville. Ryan Abel here hands it off to Reed Mickna, bounces to the outside, gets to his right, finds the sideline, and is gone. 32 yards to the house, slept up 7-0. Second quarter, it's the same score, and the Cougars Leopards are on the prowl. Abel's pass to Jaden Porter. Beautiful long TD. 14-0 Lorena on all cylinders early, same quarter. On fourth down, the snap is to Porter, and it's a fake. He takes it to the sideline, picks up the first down, and more. Gets the unsportsmanlike conduct flag right there, but he already had the first, so back him up 15, give him the new set. Then it's going to be a handoff to Porter. He finds pay dirt, 21-0 at that point. Lorena rolls 50-6.
We stress at this point in the season and with the people that we're going to have to play now, you better be physical, you're going to go home. I mean, it's just the way it is. Everybody can play now. And we'll be down to the Sweet 16, and they're all players and they're all guys that are a very physical football team, and you better bring that nature to the ballpark with you or they're going to send you home.
The Leopards will play the Columbus Anahuac winner. That was a close game, the last chance we had to check. Also last night, Academy facing East Chambers in Tomball. East Chambers starts off. Jacoby Peralt fakes the handoff, goes to his left, and then watch this. Gets to the outside, cuts back to the middle, and that is a touchdown. 7-0 Buccaneers early, but Academy going to respond, or will they? Casey Mraz to Zane Clark on the handoff. Incoming Bucks defense. Slade Parnell scored that one too in wrestling on the takedown. East Chambers here in scoring position. Hayden Reeves going full Tim Tebow. It's picked off, and Dominic Bertrand puts the Bumblebees in business. A few plays later, they're knocking on the door, and then Mraz finds Scout Brazil for the score. That's a 21-14 halftime lead, and for the first time in school history, the Academy Bumblebees are heading to the third round. Across the state last week, there were a handful of upsets in 1-4 games. One of those, Riesel taking down Van Vleck. Tonight, the Indians would aim to keep it going. Indians facing Natalia at the Field in Pflugerville tonight. First quarter, Mustangs driving. Ryan Rizzo going for the end zone, but watch this. Austin Searcy bats it away. It gets tipped around, and then finally, Kate Amber makes the pick, and the Indians take over. They'd have to punt. 6-0 Natalia after one. Same score in the second. Riesel going for it on fourth down. Handoff back to Amber. Going to be close. Where's it spotted? Referee says he's a yard short. So Natalia takes over on downs, but they'd also punt. Later in the second, ball snap. Dakota Davis not looking for it. That's a safety. 8-0 Mustangs at the half. Riesel, how about it? The Indians on to the third round. Crawford facing Celeste tonight. Now Alvarado in the second round. First Pirate drive of the game, and Crawford is already in business. Luke Torbert hits Cameron Walker right near the sideline. He picks up good yardage before getting dragged down short of the goal line. No worries, though, because one play later, yes, the next play, Ben Baker takes the handoff. He powers his way in. That's a touchdown just like that. 7-0 Pirates on top. Next Crawford drive, more of the same. Torbert to Breck Chambers. We've seen that play before on the jet sweep. 14-0 Pirates. They do that all night long. 50-14 is your final. We've got so much more high school football to talk. Don't go away. All right, welcome into an abbreviated live stream portion. We're going to just do some other second round scores from around the area and bring the other two on to break down big picture and discuss moving forward west onto the regional semifinal with a 37-7 win over Mineola. Marlin all over Lindsay tonight. They're on to the third round, 48-7 winners tonight. Thorndale falls to Timpson. That Timpson team's probably going to contend for or play in the regional final. And then Holland takes down Shelbyville 27-16. They're back in the third round. Mart all over Lovelady. That was close early, but it's 42-16 final. Chilton wins a close one over East Texas Power Tenaha. Last night, Bremont takes down Evadale. That's a massive upset, 55-19. Jonesboro falls to May for the second straight year, 84-75, or 55 rather, the final. Abbott back into the third round for the first time since winning state, I believe, back in 2015. That's a 54-8 final. Bishop Riker falls to Munster Sacred Heart, 45-13 tonight. Plano, Coram Deo can't get the repeat against Live Oak, 66-32. The Falcons are moving on. And then Holy Trinity will play tomorrow against Conroe Covenant. On the bottom, you see that Richland Springs, the powerhouse, takes down Oglesby, who Matt Lively did a feature on earlier this week. And so with that, let's bring in Matt Lively and Nikki Latterouleau, who are both braving what is the coldest night of football we have seen this season. And Nikki, let's start with you.
No.
We talked about this being I don't know, Matt's wearing a beanie. I don't know if you can tell on your phone. By the way, ask your questions in the comments on this Facebook
post. It's really not that cold.
And we will answer them as best as we can. Nikki, let's start with you. Thoughts on Temple after tonight's game?
Yeah. I thought Temple really left it definitely all out on the field. It was a slow start, like I said. They got down to a 14-0 deficit, but then coming out in the second half, they looked like a completely different team. They got within 2, and then it looked like Rockwall Heath's offense just became a little bit too much for them. You could tell they were tired, and once they had a fumble toward the end of the game, it looked like it just went all over from there. Heath just kept scoring on every drive they had, but Coach Stewart said before the game they had 8 offensive players committed or with offers to D1 schools, so that offense was just ridiculous. But I just spoke to Coach Stewart after the game, and he said he can't be more proud of this team. They left it all out on the field, and you could tell they're all around me right now, and they're all just so upset, and you could tell they really love each other, and the seniors, it's their last time playing a high school game, so there's just a lot of emotion surrounding this game. But this is a good program, and I think next year they're going to come back and be even better.
Matt, you were in Corsicana tonight with the La Vega Pirates. Are we sounding the alarms going into a game with a Melissa team that took down Argyle this season, or was this a Kaufman team that just knew what it would take to beat La Vega and wound up not having enough juice?
Next week's going to be interesting. The last time I had checked my phone, Midlothian Heritage was actually up on Melissa. So the fact that I find out that Melissa storms back, scores 14 unanswered, I'm a little nervous for La Vega. They certainly grinded out an impressive effort tonight, but Kaufman came in here with a really good game plan. They took a ton of time off the clock early in this game. Their first 2 drives really ate up the entire first quarter, and they forced turnovers. But the second half, La Vega was just too strong of a team. I think that Coach Hyde and the Pirates are going to have a very strong game plan heading into next week, because it will be the toughest game that they've played this season. You mentioned Melissa took down Argyle in the regular season. La Vega lost to Argyle in the regular season, so it's going to be a close game regardless.
This is a Melissa team that lost its first 2 games, one of them to a Frisco school, which I think all the Frisco schools are 5A. So that's a step up. Salina is a perennial power itself. But this is also a La Vega team that year in and year out plays its best football November, December, not necessarily September, October. And Don Hyde's very open about that, and that's his goal, is to play his best football this time of year. I want both of your takes on China Spring tonight. They different chapter, same story kind of thing against Sealy. Now we know that Friday, 5 p.m. in Prosper, the Cougars will play reigning state champion Carthage. What do we think for the Cougars this year against the Bulldogs?
What was the final score in their game tonight against Sealy?
48-7.
Okay. I was at their game last year against Carthage, and it was not pretty at all. But I think this China Spring team is way better than the one that we saw last year. They haven't lost yet, and it's not like they even come close to losing any games. They blow everyone out. So I'm excited to see that game. Did you say it's at 5 p.m.?
5 p.m. Welcome to Thanksgiving week football.
Or did I hear that wrong? Okay, I'm down. I'm down for that. But I think it's going to be a good game, and I think if any team is going to beat Carthage, I think it's going to be China Spring. So,
Matt, was this as impressive of a win as China Spring could have had?
Yeah, of course it is, and it's what they've done every single week this season. I don't know. I want to know what the closest margin of victory has been for China Spring this year. They're loaded on offense. They run it up quick. They have style. They have swagger. They get all those points. They cover all those boards. This team has to have so much confidence that, sure, it's big, bad Carthage. It is a team that is a reigning state champ. It is a team that everybody talks about, because I'm new here, but everybody talks about Carthage like, oh, no, you don't want to face them. If there's a team in this area that can take them down, it is China Spring.
Okay, so let's talk 3A Division I real quick, both Lorena and Academy, because I agree with both of you on this. Both Lorena and Academy out of District 11 on to the third round. West is in there. What are the chances we see an All-Central Texas State Championship game with half of the teams still left in Region 3 and arguably the best team in Region 2, both coming from either McLennan or Bell counties?
I think it could happen.
Amazing.
That would be
oh my
awesome.
God.
That would be,
has
that ever happened?
I don't think so.
Has that ever happened?
The last time I can think of would be the early 2000s when Mart and Goldthwaite met like 2 or 3 years in a row in the state final.
If you had to guess which two teams it would be, what would you say?
Ooh, I would say West and Lorena. Academy looks good, but man,
West
this Lorena team took a really good district co-champ Woodville and just took it out back of the woodshed.
I saw that in live real
Academy is
person,
young
and
too.
I went in my car. Yeah, they are, and I think they'll be good next year, even better than they are this year. But Lorena, when I went in my car, I was like, let me edit my highlights. It's cold. I came out and they had already 50 points, and when I went in my car, they had like 21. So I was like, okay, this team could score quick. So who are they going to play? I don't know which one of those teams won.
I can find that final score for you here if you give me 5 seconds.
It was something with an A that I couldn't
Columbus
pronounce.
takes down Anahuac 42-34, so it'll be Lorena and Columbus next week.
Okay, do we know anything about Columbus? Are they
Columbus is the district
best,
champion
or?
in District 12, and mind you, District 12 is really loaded.
Pretty good.
Okay, because I honestly don't even know where Columbus is.
On I-10 between San Antonio and Houston. That'll be a good one. That'll be one we have our eye on for next week. Let's drop down because we're running out of time. We've got 4 minutes left. If you've got a question, drop it in the comments. We will answer it as best as we can. Let's talk Riesel. Because, guys, I legitimately thought that whoever won that Week 11 game in Buffalo was going to be just first-round cannon fodder, and Riesel's in the dang regional semifinal against the top-ranked team in the state preseason, Franklin. What is happening?
Tyler Crow?
Yes.
He's obviously doing something great up there in Riesel. Dang.
Matt?
I talked to Tyler Crow this week, and he was saying that the team that they took on tonight looked very similar to teams in their district. So he felt very confident that they could get this win. But he seemed overworked as well. So I know his family, they're probably amped that he got the win, but Thanksgiving is going to be spent in the film room for Tyler Crow. Yeah, they have to face Franklin. I don't know how I feel about that, but great for Riesel. Couple of upset wins.
Tyler Crow, if you're watching this show, a game at Wildcat Stadium would be really convenient for me, just saying. You look at 2A, same stuff, same story from Crawford, same story from Marlin, which is probably the biggest surprise of the night. Same stuff from Mart.
Crazy.
I mean, do we have thoughts? And then Holland rolls, and do we have thoughts on 2A at all, or are we just kind of seeing really chalky and expected results to this point?
Well, I saw Crawford tonight. I went to that game, and I shot the first 2 drives, and they had a touchdown. I was like, I'll stay for the third drive. They got a touchdown. So Crawford, Greg Jacobs was like, this is not the same team as last year. We're going to have a little bit of a tough time, he told me in 2 days. It looks like they're not having a tough time at all. Someone told me they've allowed 30 receptions the whole season before tonight, and they had 11 interceptions. 30 receptions total. So they're pretty good. Nothing else to say about them.
Matt?
I'm amped for Marlin. I checked that score on Twitter. I had a text from Coach Torres. I mean, I'm pumped for them. Those guys are, I've been covering them now the last few weeks, and I've been saying they're so loaded on offense. They're so tough to stop defensively. They're just going to keep rolling on.
Okay, let's talk real quick. 1A and 6-man. Still really no
Marlin.
questions of note that we hear on our Facebook feed. So, Matt, I have some bad news for you. Final score.
Jonesboro.
Well, Jonesboro last night, the final score, Richland Springs 53,
They
Oglesby
lost, right?
0. So best season in 40 years in Oglesby comes to a really rough end, but that's going to be a Richland Springs team that probably plays for a state
That's all right.
championship. That's a really hot take, and if you know me, you know I'm being ridiculously sarcastic with that. Abbott wins. Is this the best Abbott team since their last state championship in 2015?
I think so. If they're winning this much and they're
45
putting up
in
big
dudes
numbers,
in the
it
second
could be.
round.
I wasn't here in 2015.
I wasn't either, but they're 45 in dudes in the second round. I don't remember them getting this
I didn't
far.
see it.
Okay.
Yeah, this could be the year for them. I would love to see them
I'm with
make
Nikki
it to
on
state.
this.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, real quick, is this the deepest year of football in Central Texas?
I said this in the beginning of the
Say it
season. I
again.
said, I think we're going to have 4 teams in state. And you were like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a short season,
I think
truly.
so.
But we've got, looks like 20 teams playing next
I
week.
said, I think we have a lot.
Matt, how
Sorry,
deep,
Curtis.
how
Start
deep is
planning
this
your
playoff
runs
run?
out. We've got a lot to do.
How deep is this playoff run, Matt? And we're going to end it on this. I think this is our ender.
All I hear is Nikki and Curtis going back and forth. I think Curtis is asking me what I think. I'm happy. I hope our teams are going far. As of tonight, it seems like things are going great. But I think, yes, a lot of teams will have deep playoff runs, and we are going to stay employed for at least another month or so.
I like the way you look at that. Y'all be careful on the road coming home.
Love that for us.
Appreciate you guys braving the elements. Matt, hopefully your ears don't fall off when it's 62 degrees in
Not that
Corsicana,
cold.
Texas.
48.
Appreciate you guys. For those of you who stayed here with us on the Facebook question and answer, we appreciate you. For everyone working the late shift to 6 News, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time under the lights.